So, students, yesterday we have gone through thermometry, like how to calibrate the thermometer and what are the LFP, UFP, and different types of different scales of thermometers, and how to convert the temperature from one scale to another scale. And we have done one numericals also. So let us close the thermometry topic today. Okay. So what was left in that thermometry means so types of thermometers. Okay. Types of thermometers. Okay. So there are three, four types of thermometers are there. Let us see one after the other. Okay. So first one is liquid thermometers. So liquid thermometer means usually in domestic purpose what we are using in our home, those are called liquid thermometers. Example, mercury. So what was there in the thermometers? Mercury. Mercury is a liquid or solid? Liquid. No? That type of, yeah, that type of thermometers are called liquid thermometers. So on what principle it will work means liquid can expand on heating and contracts on cooling. The length of the liquid column is increases if the heat is supplied, and the length of the liquid column in the is decreases if the heat is or else if the heat is extracted from it. Okay, the liquid shows expansion on heating, and the liquid shows contraction on cooling. On the basis, this liquid thermometers will work. So how can we calculate the temperatures? Mean the temperature T is equals to LT minus L naught divided by L100 minus L naught into 100 degrees centigrade. What is LT means? That is nothing but length of liquid column at T degrees centigrade, which we need to calculate. Next, L naught stands for length of the liquid column at 0 degrees centigrade, and L100 stands for length of the liquid column at 100 degrees centigrade. Okay. So by knowing these two, by calculating the length of the liquid column at particular temperature, and by using this formula, we can estimate the temperature. So this is a formula which we can use in case of liquid thermometers. This is one of the thermometers. The liquid thermometer will work on the principle so that the liquid can expand on heating and the liquid can show contract on cooling. So on the basis it will work. So what is the formula means? The temperature T is equal to LT minus L naught upon L100 minus L naught into 100 degrees centigrade. What are these LT L naught means? Length of the liquid column which is observed at T degrees centigrade, which we need to calculate. L naught is length of the liquid column at 0 degrees centigrade, length of the liquid column at 100 degrees centigrade. These two values are standard and given with the instrument. This value can be calculated experimentally. This value can be calculated experimentally. And by knowing all these values, by using this formula, we can calculate the temperature by using liquid thermometers. All mercury thermometers are called liquid thermometers. Okay, so please copy this one. Students, please copy this.
Written, sir.
completed, sir.
Yeah. Just a minute. Okay.
Sir, can't we use it for Fahrenheit and Kelvin, sir?
Which one can't we?
Sir, this one, this formula.
Once if you know the value in centigrade, it is easy to convert either in Fahrenheit and Kelvin scales. No?
Yes,
What
sir,
was
yes, sir.
difficult in that?
No, sir. We can find.
Yeah, that's what. Okay. So once if you know the value of temperature in any one scale, it is easy to convert on the scale which we require. Okay. So it's not an issue, I hope. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Next one is gas thermometers. Okay. Next one is second one, gas thermometers. These gas thermometers will work on principle of simple gas laws. Okay, simple gas laws. One is constant volume gas thermometer. Constant volume gas thermometer. So constant volume gas thermometer means just it is these gas thermometers will work on the principle of Charles first law and Charles second law. So constant volume gas thermometer means at constant volume constant volume volume, the pressure of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to temperature. So when the volume is kept constant, the pressure of the gas is increases with temperature. If the temperature is increases, means pressure is also increases. If the temperature is decreases, means the pressure is decreases. So based on this formula, this constant volume gas thermometer will work. So then temperature T is equal to, how can we write here? Same Pt minus P naught divided by P100 minus P naught into 100 degrees centigrade. What is PT stands for pressure at T degrees centigrade. P naught stands for pressure at 0 degrees centigrade, and P100 stands for pressure at 100 degrees centigrade. So this is about the constant volume gas thermometers. So second category is gas thermometers. Gas thermometers will work on the principle of simple gas laws. So if the volume of the gas is kept constant, means pressure of the gas will change with temperature. If the pressure is kept constant, means volume of the gas change with temperature. On the basis there we will have two types of thermometer: constant volume gas thermometer. So at constant volume, the pressure of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to temperature. So if the volume of the gas is kept constant, and if the temperature is increased, means the pressure of the gas is also increases. On this basis, this constant volume gas thermometer will work. So how to calculate the temperature by using this constant volume gas thermometer? This is the formula. These are the PT means what, P0 means what, P100 means. So please note down this. Note it down.
Done, sir.
Okay, so right next constant pressure. So simple one. Next one is so constant pressure gas thermometer. So just a reverse of the earlier one. At constant pressure, the volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to temperature. Charles second law. Charles laws. Okay, so Charles at what is the Charles first law? At constant volume, pressure of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to temperature, and at constant pressure, volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to its temperature. On this basis, this constant pressure gas thermometer will work. So then, what is the formula to calculate? Means simple, the same formula. Okay, so what it means? Vt minus V naught upon V100 minus V0 into 100 degrees centigrade. What is this? VT stands for same thing. Okay, so volume at T degrees centigrade, where we need to calculate the temperature. Volume at next V0 stands for volume of the same gas at 0 degrees centigrade. And
Sir?
Sir, you are muted, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're muted, sir.
Sir, you are muted, sir.
Order ನಿಮ್ಗೆ.
You're muted by an unknown person. Why did
Somebody is
you
muted, sir.
yeah, it was automatically done. Okay, I didn't notice that. So just have a look on this. So the same thing at constant pressure gas thermometer will work on the principle that the volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to temperature. As the temperature is increases, volume is decreases. Volume is increases. As the temperature is decreases, means volume is also decreases. Based on that principle, this constant pressure gas thermometer will work. So this is the formula to calculate the temperature by using this constant pressure gas thermometer. What are the terms in this formula? Means VT. VT stands for what? Volume of the gas at T degrees centigrade, which we need to calculate that value, or which we need to find that value. V0 stands for volume of the same gas at 0 degrees centigrade, and V100 stands for volume of the same gas at 100 degrees centigrade. So this is about the constant pressure gas thermometers. Okay, so note it down.
Written, sir.
Right, almost this is over. Let us go with few numericals. Okay.
Sir.
And one more thing is, so students, yesterday we have discussed about 4 types of scales. No? What are those 4 types of scales? One is
Celsius scale, Fahrenheit, Kelvin, and
yes.
Kelvin.
Yeah. So Celsius scale, Kelvin scale of temperature, and the Reaumur scale, and the Fahrenheit scale. Among them, the Kelvin scale has one importance. Okay, so what is that importance means? So what is the lowest attainable value of temperature and what is the highest attainable value of temperature means there is no limit for highest attainable value of temperature. Okay, there is no limit. So for example, if you take at the center of our earth, the temperature is in the order of 6 lakh. The temperature is in the order of 6 lakh degrees Celsius. At the, are you able to see, Amma?
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
At the center of the earth means from the surface onwards, it is about 6,400 kilometers down. The center of the earth is, the radius of the earth is 6,400 kilometers. From the surface of onwards, if we go deep about 6,400 kilometers, then we can notice the temperature is about in the order of 6 lakh degrees Celsius, around 6 lakh degrees Celsius. So what is the temperature near the core of the sun means near the core of the sun it is about 24 lakh. 24 lakh is an order of 24 lakh degree Celsius. So in the universe there are more stars are there which is bigger than our sun. Across those stars the temperature might be more than this value. That's why there is no limit of the highest attainable temperature, but there is a limit of lowest attainable temperature. What is that lowest attainable temperature means? Minus 273.16 Kelvin. So than this, it is not possible to have the less temperature. This is the least temperature that we can have. So than this, for example, minus 280 degree Kelvin temperature is existing or not, it's not possible. The least value of temperature that we can attain, that is minus 273.16 degree Kelvin. So here onwards the Kelvin scale has started. That's why the Kelvin scale often called as absolute zero scale also we can call it. So this is one of the importance of this Kelvin scale apart from the other 3 scales. So guys, there is no limit of the highest attainable temperature. Depending upon situation, the temperature will be at a different level. But the least value of the temperature is minus 273.16 Kelvin. So than this, it is not possible to have the least value. This is not exist. The least value of the temperature that can exist is minus 273.16 Kelvin. So this is the origin of the Kelvin scale, and that's why this scale is also called as absolute zero scale also. Kelvin scale is often called as absolute zero scale also because it starts from the temperature minus 273.16 degree Kelvin. So that is one of the importance of this. So let us go with a few problems based on the thermometry what we have seen. Okay. So is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So let us go with few formulas. I mean few problems. Then we can go for calorimetry. Okay. So right. Please note down the formulas. I mean questions. Find the temperature. Find the temperature. Find the temperature on degree Celsius. Find the temperature on degree Celsius at which find the temperature on degree Celsius at which Fahrenheit scale and Celsius scale shows the same reading. Find the temperature at which Fahrenheit scale and Celsius scale shows the same reading. Okay. So carefully once go through that question. What they have asked means at what is the value of temperature on Celsius scale at which the reading on both the scales would be same. So here we need to convert the temperature from which scale to which scale? Celsius scale to Fahrenheit scale. So then earlier we have derived one common relation. From that I can take C by 100, that's equals to F minus 32 divided by 180. Okay, so this is a relation which is used to convert the temperature either from degree centigrade to degree Fahrenheit or from degree Fahrenheit to degree centigrade. So here this value F is equal to C. Okay, they told that the reading on Fahrenheit scale is equal to the reading on Celsius scale, or both the scales read the same value.
Sir,
Because
minus
C
40
is the
degrees
reading.
Celsius.
It's okay. Let me do it. Okay. So then here we need to convert the we need to find the value on degree Celsius means this F can be replaced by C. So then this equation can be C by 100, that's equals to F minus 32, mean in place of F I am substituting C minus 32 divided by 180. So this one gets cancelled, cross multiplying. 18C is equals to 10C minus 320. So then minus 8C, that's equals to 320. C is equals to minus 320 by 8. So then C is equals to minus 40 degrees centigrade. So at minus 40 degrees centigrade, both the scales will show the same reading. So minus 40 degrees centigrade or minus 40 degree Fahrenheit, both will be same. So this is the temperature at which the both Fahrenheit and Celsius scale will shows the same reading. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fine. Is there any doubts in this approach, Amma?
No doubt, sir.
So fine. Okay. So let us go with one more. Okay, another formula. You can copy it. You got it? Clear? Right. Okay. So please note down this question and try to solve it, guys. Find the value find the value of temperature, find the value of temperature, find the value of temperature at which Fahrenheit and Kelvin scales, at which Fahrenheit and Kelvin scale shows the same reading. Find the temperature at which Fahrenheit and Kelvin scales shows the same reading. Okay. So you just try it like this. Here how we have taken Celsius and Fahrenheit scales. So in this problem we need to convert from Kelvin, Fahrenheit to Kelvin, means those two equations you can take it.
Sir, 574.25 Kelvin, sir.
Right. 574.25 Kelvin is the correct option. Okay. So students, did you get, or we need to solve it?
Got, sir.
Yeah, other people.
574.25, sir.
Yeah, 574.25. So this is answer is you should get 574.25. This is the value at which the reading on both the scales, like Kelvin and Fahrenheit scales, would be same. Okay, so little calculation is there, except that concept is clear. So next, may note down this problem also. Please note down that. So guys, is that problem is clear? All of you got this answer, 574.25. Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any doubts? You just let me know, then we will solve it on the board.
No, sir.
Just like this, how we have done from Celsius to Fahrenheit. In this problem, we have to done from Kelvin to Fahrenheit. That's only the difference. Everything will be same. So right, note down the next problem. On a new scale called W, on a new scale called W, capital letter. Okay, on a new scale called W, the freezing and boiling points of water, are marked as, the freezing and boiling point of water are marked as, okay, 39 degree W and 239 degree W. 239 degree W. Okay, so 239 degree W. What will be the temperature on this new scale? What will be the temperature on this new scale? What will be the temperature on this new scale if the temperature is 39 degrees Celsius? If the temperature is 39 degree Celsius. Okay. So once you go through that problem, guys, yesterday we have discussed about a few one of the student is asked why we have to take melting point of ice is 0 degrees centigrade boiling, that is a LFP and UFP. This is a person, some person called named W. He has designed his own scale of temperature. On his own scale of temperature, the LFP is marked as 39 degree W and UFP is marked as 239 degree W. His own scale, just like a Celsius scale, just like a Fahrenheit scale, just like a Kelvin, and just
Sir,
like
117. Sir, 117 W.
just a minute, let me do this. So he has designed his own scale. On his own scale, LFP is he has taken as 39 degree W is an LFP, 239 degree W is an UFP. So then if the temperature, original temperature is T is equal to some what's value? What here?
39 degree.
So if the temperature is 39 degrees centigrade, this temperature read how much value on this new scale they are asking that. So how to solve means, as we already told that reading, okay, minus LFP upon UFP minus LFP, that is equals to constant. No? So therefore, to convert from Celsius to this new scale means I can write C minus 0 by 100. C reading minus LFP by UFP minus LFP, that's equals to, let W is the reading on the new scale. W minus LFP means 39 divided by UFP minus LFP means 239 minus 39 degrees. So this is an equation which we are going to use. So this can be written as C by 100 equals to W minus 39 divided by, what can I write here? 239 minus 39 means 200. So this is the relation we can use. So here what they have given, the value of C, they have given reading on the Celsius scale, they have given 39 degrees. They asked us to find the value on this new scale, that is called W. So then if I substitute the value 39 divided by 100, that's equals to W minus 39 divided by 200. So there we can calculate the value of W. So what is the value we got?
117.
117.
Seven.
So just like yeah. Speak up what?
Sir, 117 W.
117 W, sir.
So then W, that's equals to 117 degree. So this is about the value on the new scale. If the temperature is 39 degrees centigrade on Celsius scale, its value on this scale is 117 degree W. So that is about the formula. Next, last problem. Got it? Okay, so next last problem, write it. The change in the temperature of a body is given by the change in the temperature. The change in the temperature of a body is given by 50 degrees centigrade. 50 degree centigrade. The change in the temperature of a body is given by 50 degree centigrade. 50 degrees centigrade. Find the corresponding change of temperature. Find the corresponding change of temperature in Kelvin scale. Find the corresponding change of temperature in Kelvin scale. Just I'm repeating the question, guys, once again. Okay. So the change in the temperature of the body is given by 50 degrees Celsius. Find the corresponding change of temperature on Kelvin scale. That's it.
Sir, it will be same, no, sir? 50 degrees, sir.
Yes, yes. The reason is,
Sir, same measurement, no, sir? That 100 difference. Boiling
Yeah.
and freezing.
yes, yes. Okay, so answer you can write it. It is same as 50 degree Kelvin. It is same as 50 degree Kelvin. Okay. Why it is means the reason is, note down the reason also. There are 100 divisions. There are 100 divisions. There are 100 divisions between LFP and UFP. There are 100 divisions between LFP and UFP in both the scales. In both the scales. Hence, the rise in temperature. Hence, the rise in temperature. Rise of temperature in Celsius and Kelvin scales would be same. Hence, the rise in temperature, the rise of temperature in Celsius and Kelvin scales would be same. So this is about thermometry. How to students? What is the temperature and what is there is a difference between the temperature and heat. As already we told that heat is a form of energy. Temperature is a thermal condition which tells us the ability to transfer the heat. Already we have discussed that yesterday. Temperature is also one of the fundamental physical quantity, not heat. Okay, so difference between temperature and heat, how to measure the temperature and how to calibrate the thermometer, what type of scales are there in thermometers, how to transfer the temperature between any two scales, and what are the different types of thermometers which we have commonly used. Okay, so the difference are all almost thermometry we have done. Next one is the next subtopic is keep subheading calorimetry. Okay, calorimetry. So what is mean by a calorimetry means? So what it mean by thermometry? Thermometry is the measurement of temperature. Calorimetry is the measurement of heat. Okay, so the calorimetry refers, or calorimetry is the measurement of heat. Note down that calorimetry is the measurement of heat. Okay, calorimetry is measurement of. So how can we define 1 calorie? 1 calorie means what? 1 calorie. So yesterday we have discussed about heat can also be measured in calories. 1 calorie equal to 4.2 joule means, how can we define 1 calorie? Okay. So how can we define 1 calorie means 1 calorie is equal to the heat required to raise 1 gram of water temperature by 1 degree. Heat required to raise the 1 gram of water temperature by 1 degree. So to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree, how much amount of the heat we need to supply? That is known as 1 calorie. So 1 calorie is equals to 4.2 joules. So if the 4.2 joules of heat energy is supplied to a 1 gram of water, then its temperature is raised by 1 degree. So that's why this 4.2 joules of heat energy will be equivalent to 1 calorie. So note down that calorie. 1 calorie is the heat required. 1 calorie is the heat required. 1 calorie is the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water. To raise the temperature of 1 gram of water. To raise the temperature of 1 gram of water. To raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin. Rise in temperature is same as Kelvin and Celsius scale. No, the rise of temperature 1 degree on Kelvin scale is same as the rise of temperature 1 degree Celsius on Celsius scale. Both will be same. That's why Heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree or 1 degree Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius. That is known as 1 calorie. 1 calorie equal to 4.2 joules. So students, calorimetry consists of several definitions like heat capacity, specific heat, latent heat. Okay, so different definitions are there. That's why be careful with the definitions. So once if you understand these definitions like specific heat, heat capacity, thermal capacity, latent heat, the chapter called thermodynamics will be very easy. That's why be careful with that. Next one is heat capacity. Okay. Heat capacity or thermal capacity. It is represented by a letter H. Okay. So therefore, we have a large block of mass m, certain substance. Okay. How can I define the heat capacity? Means the heat required. Okay. So for example, this is a large block of certain mass. How much amount of the heat energy I need to supply this block to raise the block temperature by 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin. Whole temperature of the block, the amount of the heat required to raise the temperature of the substance by 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin. How much amount of the heat we need to supply for this? That is known as heat capacity or thermal capacity. For example, if dq amount of the heat is supplied to a block of mass m, okay, so that its temperature is raised by d theta. Its temperature is raised by d theta. So to raise d theta temperature, how much amount of the heat we have supplied? Dq amount of the heat is supplied. So then to raise the d theta range temperature, dq amount of the heat is supplied means to raise 1 degree centigrade, what is the heat we need to supply? That dq upon d theta. This is dq upon d theta is the heat required to raise this entire blocks, okay, entire mass to 1 degree centigrade. That's why this is known as
Heat
specific
capacity.
capacity or thermal capacity. Heat capacity H is equals to, I can write dq by d theta, or else this can also be written as H is equals to q by theta. So q stands for heat supplied, theta stands for rising temperature. Here also dq stands for heat supplied, d theta is the rising temperature. Both will represent the same. So this is about the heat capacity. Once again, we'll go to that. Just have a look on it. How can we define heat capacity or thermal capacity? Means the heat required to raise the. I have taken a block of certain mass m. Okay, irrespective of any substance, this may be a water, or this may be an iron block. This may be made up of with brass or any material it might be. I have taken a block. So how much amount of the heat energy I need to give to this block to raise the entire temperature of the block by 1 degree or 1 degree Kelvin or 1 degree centigrade? That is known as the heat capacity or thermal capacity. The amount of the heat required to raise the temperature of the substance by 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, that is known as heat capacity or thermal capacity. Look at here, dq amount of the heat is supplied to a substance of mass capital M, so that we notice that there is a d theta amount of the temperature is raised across that substance. So for to increase the temperature d theta, we have supplied dq amount of the heat. So then to raise the temperature for 1 degree means, so to raise the temperature d theta, we have supplied dq amount of the heat means in order to raise the temperature by 1 degree, we need to supply a heat of dq by d theta. Hence, this is the heat required to raise the temperature of the substance by 1 degree. That's why this is known as heat capacity or thermal capacity. What is an SI unit? So SI unit of heat capacity is what is dq stands for heat, d theta stands for temperature. So here this is energy. SI unit of energy is joule. D
Joule
theta
per Kelvin.
temperature. SI unit is joule per Kelvin. And it can also be measured in instead of joule per Kelvin. Sometimes it can also be measured in calorie per degree centigrade is also. This is also the unit, but not SI unit. SI unit is joule per Kelvin for heat capacity, and heat capacity can also be measured in calorie per degree centigrade or calorie per degree Kelvin also. It is possible. Okay. So this is about the heat capacity. Note down this heat capacity. Okay. Note down, guys. The amount of the heat required. The amount of the heat required. The amount of the heat required. The amount of the heat required to raise the temperature of the substance, to raise the temperature of the substance, to raise the temperature of the substance by 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin, by 1 degree centigrade, like this you can write 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin. 1 degree Kelvin is known as heat capacity, or else you can keep thermal capacity also. Your wish, any one word you can keep. Is known as heat capacity. Okay, so note down that if dq amount of the heat is supplied, dq amount of the heat is supplied to a substance of mass capital M, dq amount of the heat is supplied to a substance of mass capital M, so that its temperature is raised by d theta, so that its temperature is raised by d theta. Repeat
DQ.
that. Yeah, wait, I'm repeating the sentence. Just hold. If dq amount of the heat is supplied to a substance of mass M, so that its temperature is raised by d theta, its temperature is raised by d theta. Okay, d theta. Full stop. Next point. So the heat required, the heat required, the heat required to raise the temperature of substance, the heat required to raise the temperature of substance, the heat required to raise the temperature of substance by 1 degree is 1 degree is 1 degree is, and write dq by d theta, dq by d theta. Hence heat capacity, heat capacity, heat capacity, heat capacity, H is equals to, I can write dq by d theta. That can also be written as H equals to q by theta. Students, here dq stands for and here q, both are represent the same, that is heat supplied. D theta and theta represent the same, that is rise in temperature. Both represent the same physical quantity, rise in temperature. And here one more also we can write. If you take the cross multiplying, then dq can be written as H into d theta. So while writing the letter q and letter theta, differentiate those letters, otherwise you will get confused. Okay. So dq, that's equals to H into d theta. So it means that what is this equation represent means, to raise the temperature of a substance whose thermal capacity is H by d theta means what the heat we need to supply, H into d theta heat is supplied to raise the substance whose thermal capacity is H by the to raise the temperature by d theta. Okay, so for example, a body is there whose thermal capacity is H. Okay, so for example, this is a body whose thermal capacity is H. What the heat I need to supply to raise its body temperature by d theta means what the heat I need to supply whose temperature by d theta, The heat supplied
H
is
into d
equal
theta.
to into theta. Just this is a converse of this equation. This is a converse of this equation. Sometimes this formulas is used to solve the numericals. Sometimes they have given in reverse point like this h and d theta is given and they ask us to find what is the heat required to do that. So in this case, the same formula that can be used in this manner. Okay. So next point, SI unit. SI unit. SI unit is joule per Kelvin. SI unit is joule per Kelvin, comma. It is also measured in. It is also measured in. It is also measured in calorie per degree centigrade. Calorie per degree centigrade or calorie per degree Kelvin. It is also measured in calorie per degree centigrade or calorie per degree Kelvin. It is also measured in calorie per degree centigrade or calorie per degree Kelvin. Next, specific heat. Okay. Specific heat is represented by S. So once go through the thermal capacity, what the thermal capacity we have discussed, the heat required to raise the entire substance temperature by 1 degree. Instead of that entire substance, the heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, that is known as a specific heat. So earlier we have taken entire block, no? So for example here this is entire block we have taken. The heat required to raise this entire block temperature by 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, that is known as thermal capacity or heat capacity. Specific heat means instead of this entire block, a unit mass is taken. The heat required to raise the temperature of a unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, that is known as specific heat. Instead of the entire block, if you are consider only a unit mass of substance, to raise that unit mass of substance by 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, how much amount of the heat we need to supply for that? That is known as the specific heat. So that is the difference between the heat capacity and specific heat. Heat capacity means the heat required to raise this entire substance temperature by 1 degree Celsius, and specific heat means instead of this entire substance, heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance. Unit mass of substance means in CJ system unit mass means 1 gram. In SI system unit mass means 1 kg. The amount of the heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, that is known as specific heat capacity or simply specific heat also we can call it. Okay, so please note down that specific heat. The heat required, the heat required to raise the temperature of the heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance, to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin, like this, or 1 degree Kelvin. Rise in temperature will be same in both the scales. That's why 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin is known as specific heat. Is known as specific heat. Is known as specific heat. Okay. So note down the same what we have written there. If dq, keep these letters in quotation. Dq, amount of the heat is supplied. If dq amount of the heat is supplied, to a substance of mass m, 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 so that its temperature is raised by, so that its temperature is raised by d theta, so that its temperature is raised by d theta. So just have a look on it. So here dq, amount of the heat is supplied so that its temperature is raised by d theta. So therefore, to raise d theta, raise in temperature of the entire substance, we have supplied dq amount of the heat. To raise 1 degree rise of temperature, we have to supply a heat of dq by d theta. This is the heat supplied to raise the entire mass of substance by 1 degree. So hence to raise the temperature of m mass of substance by 1 degree. So m mass of substance by 1 degree, we have to supply a heat of dq by d theta. To raise the temperature of m mass of substance by 1 degree, this much amount of the heat we need to supply means, so then for unit mass means what is the heat required?
dq by d theta by m.
Yes. So for unit mass means, so for 1 gram, for unit mass, either it may be depending upon the systems which we have chosen. If you have chosen the CJ system, unit mass is 1 gram. If you have choose the SI system, unit mass is 1 kg. So for unit mass, what is the heat required? 1 by m of dq by d theta. So hence this is the heat required to raise a unit mass of substance by 1 degree. This much amount of the heat we need to supply. That is known as the specific heat. That's why specific heat S is equals to 1 by m into dq by d. So this is about non-specific. No need to write all this. You can write this. Okay. You can write directly this. Specific heat S is equals to 1 by m of dq by d theta. Specific heat S is equals to 1 by m of dq by d theta. So what is an SI unit of the specific heat? SI unit will be numerator
Joules per Kelvin per kg.
Yeah, joule. Denominator mass is there, temperature is there. Joule per
Joules per Kelvin per
kg
kg.
Kelvin is the SI unit of this, and it can also be measured in calorie per kg Kelvin or calorie per gram centigrade is also. Okay, depending upon situation, it can be measured in calorie per kg Kelvin, and instead of this kg, we can it can be in grams also sometimes. So calorie per gram instead of Kelvin, it might be centigrade also. Calorie per gram centigrade, it can also be measured in like this. Okay. So these points we have to note it down. Okay. So please listen this carefully. S is equals to, we can write m into dq by d theta. So that implies what can I write? Dq
S is equal to h by m.
Yeah, wait. Ms d theta. So ms d theta means I can write dq that's equals to ms of d theta means theta 2 minus theta 1. D theta is the change in temperature. Final temperature is theta 2. Initial temperature is theta 1. Means d theta must be equal to theta 2 minus theta 1. What is this represent first? dq means, what is this equation represent means? To raise the temperature of m mass of substance, whose specific heat is S. So to raise that its temperature from theta 1 to theta 2, whose mass is m and whose specific heat is S, how much amount of the heat we need to supply means, we need to supply a heat of ms of theta 2 minus theta 1 to raise the temperature of from theta 1 to theta 2, whose mass is m and whose specific heat is S. For that we need to supply a heat of this one. So this is also we can use it while solving the numericals. Please make a note of this. Okay, please make a note of this. So to raise the temperature, of substance to raise the temperature of substance whose mass is m and specific heat S, whose mass is m and specific heat S, from theta to degree to theta 1 degree to theta 2 degree. From theta 1 degree to theta 2 degree, heat required is you can write this. Heat required is dq equals to ms theta 2 minus theta 1. Ms theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 2 minus theta 1. Next, okay, next one more note. If the specific heat is variable with the temperature, so then dq is equals to ms d theta. That implies q is equals to integral dq. So that implies q is equals to integral theta 1 to theta 2 ms into d theta. So this formula is useful to find the heat required in case of variable specific heat. So a variable specific heat for NEET level mostly we won't have. In JEE we can notice this type of questions. If the specific heat is variable with the temperature, specific heat is constant means no problem. If the specific heat is variable means the heat supplied that can be calculated by using this formula. If the specific heat is constant means earlier we wrote heat supplied dq that's equals to ms of theta 2 minus theta 1. This is the formula to calculate the heat required to raise the temperature from theta 1 to theta 2 in case of constant specific heat. Specific heat is constant. In some substances, specific heats can be variable with the temperature. On such cases, which formula is used to find the heat supplied means this formula is used. Integration techniques we will use to solve the. One more note is also. Yeah.
Sir, can you give a problem based on when the specific heat is not constant? So that we come to know that how to use that formula, integral.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll solve the numericals. Okay, no problem.
Okay, sir.
At the time of solving the numericals, I'll give one or two numerical based on this model is also you will get better idea. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
So make a note of one point. Specific heat of water is 4200 joule per kg Kelvin. Students, these values we should remember. In numericals, they may or may not be mentioned in the numerical. Density of water and the specific heat of water. Okay, those values we should remember that. Specific heat of water is 4200 joule per kg Kelvin. What exactly it means that? It means that 4200 joules of heat energy we need to supply 1 kg of water to raise its temperature by 1 degree.
1 degree Celsius.
Yes, 1 degree Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius. The meaning is that, so to raise the temperature of this 1 kg water by 1 degree Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius, one has to supply a heat energy of 4200 joules. Okay, 4200 joules. So on a summer day, which one will be heated up fast? Either land surfaces or surface of the ocean can be heated fast.
Land surface.
And surface, sir.
Why the reason is
Specific
Okay,
heat is
which
less.
one of them will be cooled fast? Either the surface of the ocean can be cooled down
Land.
fast, or the surface of the
So the
land.
specific heat
Land, sir.
capacity is more, sir.
Land, sir.
Specific heat
Land,
of
sir.
water is more than that specific heat of the
Then
land
down,
surface.
then
That's
down.
why, yeah, ocean surface of the ocean will be heated slowly and will be heated slowly. Because of that reason only, wind breezes, sea breezes will be there. So during the daytime and during the night time, wind will be flown from surface of the ocean to surface of the land. During the night time, it will be reversed. The reason is due to the specific heats only. Specific heat of water is different than specific heat of land surfaces, and specific heat of water is more than the land surfaces. That's why the heat water can be heated up slowly and it will be cooled down slowly. Land that can be heated in very quick when compared to the water surfaces, it can be cooled down in very quick when compared to the water surfaces. So, but water surfaces will not be. That is the reason is the specific heat of water. Specific heat of water is 4,200 joule per kg. So right, this is enough. So tomorrow we'll see the latent heat and some problems based on the specific heats and principle of calorimetry. We'll see in tomorrow's class. Okay. So see you guys on tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Bye. All of you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. See you on tomorrow. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಮ್ಮ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ
ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಸಮಾಚಾರ ಸಮಾಚಾರ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ